Have you ever looked at a remake and then wondered, okay, so what's the difference between this and a remaster? Well, in essence, it's the core of the words that matter here. A remake is supposed to mean that a company has remade a game more or less from the ground up. Whether that means painstakingly converting the original files into a new engine, or reimagining the game in a new sense while keeping what people loved at the core of the original, where a remaster is a little different. It's important for you to understand what you're purchasing, and despite all the fancy words in the description or the big letters in the title, what the developer is describing to you might not actually be what you think it is, and it might not be what you want in the long run. The definition of a remaster is to make a new master of a sound recording, typically in order to improve the sound quality. This now also includes video games, meaning the master is the game as a whole, and the stems, a word used to represent the different recordings of instruments that come together to make the full song, are things like the music, textures, menus, and even quality of life features that can be added, tweaked, or even replaced if the company wants to spend that amount of money. And some of these things are pretty easy to see at a glance. Ratchet & Clank 2006 versus Ratchet & Clank 2016? Yeah, that's definitely a remake. Final Fantasy X and X-2 Remaster? Yeah, that's a remaster. But sometimes companies like to muddy the waters. They like to add titles to things that don't really belong where they are, and I really have an issue with it. So this is what Bethesda says is a remaster, right in the title, but is it really a remaster? I mean, look at it. The visuals now rival any modern game handily. It's now on Unreal Engine 5 and they've added quality of life features and changed things that they missed in the original. But Jaden, isn't that exactly what you said a remake is? Yes. Yes, it is. In their own words, Bethesda says that it's a remaster because the core of the game is still there. Most of the old quirks, bugs, and code still exist in the game, and the quests and dialogue haven't been changed, for the most part. I kind of understand their reasoning from a marketing perspective, mainly because slapping remaster after the title makes it seem like the core of the game is still the same, because it more or less is. But let me put this in a different context for you. Say I'm a music producer, and suddenly I'm asked to remaster my old song, Hate You. But instead of taking the original stems and making some tweaks to the volume, I hire another artist to sing the lyrics and change some of the instruments but still slap remaster at the end of it. Doesn't really make sense, right? Imagine you're someone who played the old school Oblivion, and you see this game as a remaster, and you want to see if maybe some of the old mods you used to use work on this. Well, the main issue is that a remake this drastic is going to make it really difficult for modders to convert their projects over easily. And I'm more or less bringing this up considering that the Elder Scrolls series is notorious for its modding scene, and it may genuinely be a deciding factor for some players. So what about something like the Halo CE Anniversary? Well, again, this is even more difficult to answer. Halo CE Anniversary at its core is the same game. Level design, balancing, and feel are all the same. The main difference are the lighting and assets, which are actually mostly taken from Halo Reach. And with that said, the engine is somewhat unique. It uses the Blam engine for the gameplay and physics, allowing the core of the game to stay the same while using the Saber 3D engine for the visual. So, is this a remake or a remaster? Well, considering it still uses the original engine for the core of the game, with only the visuals changed by the new engine that they've laid over the top, I'd personally consider this a remaster. So, before I leave so you can do more interesting things with your day, here's a few pointers you can use to know whether a game is really a remake or a remaster. Number 1. Is the core of the gameplay still the same? Meaning, have they added or removed any levels or mechanics? Number 2. Is the engine the same as the original release? Obviously this might take a bit more research, but for older games, simply typing up "does X use the same engine as the original X?" it should give you the same result you're looking for. And finally, number 3, are the creators the same? Now, I'm not talking about specific people, but more or less the company in charge of the product. For example, both Halo Combat Evolved and Halo CE Anniversary were made by Bungie, while the remake that will be supposedly coming out sometime in 2026 will be headed by Halo Studios, formerly known as 343 Industries. Now, with all that said and done, I hope I helped clean those muddy waters just a little bit, and also gave you the tools so you can tell the difference on your own in the future as well. So, if you found this helpful, then please leave a like and, hey, do all that other YouTube stuff as well. It really helps people find this content. And I guess I'll see you in the next one.